Negro, I'm John Black, being ambitious. Top of your missus, wish list. I got her blowing kisses, making late night calls and visits. Ain't with no handouts, but they got their hand out. They don't understand me, and that's because I stand out. I'm the man now, hey, can't you tell? But that's a nigga, I can sell a furnace to a man in hell. I told my ex, sit back, take this L, drop the past in the coffin. You was just another nail. Y'all ain't looking too well, y'all looking dry, weak and pale. Said you got bars like a prison cell, well my ears posting bail. I got them sick to their stomach, and I just kept it 100. They sound fake and unwanted, album sound underfunded. Okay, they claim that they run it, when it sound like they walking. If you ain't talking about hundreds, then why the hell are you talking? Bitch, I'm all about that green, I love a queen, get it to my dreams. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X by any means. Next big thing on the big screen, get my team 6 rings, Jordan off the picking screen. Young ambitious with big dreams. You looking at it, you black king. Bitch, I'm young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck you mean, shawty, fuck you mean. Yo. You looking at it, you black king.
Astro project, blast of a tech, pass your neck with the shit to leave a rapper and Rex from the back of a black Acura. Bullet ricocheted and swayed and it passed through your pecs, the assassin wet. All y'all know y'all don't have to go. Sawed off shoddy, make a potty, probably call the law. Me no gangster, I'm no tough, that me child of the most high. I get on the mic and you go, bye-bye. Devil don't test me, I throw shrapnel where your chest be. Shooting our family down in the streets, fuck the police, they ain't marching for me. Pull up, not that Rari, I ain't bad yet. I pull up out that 85% of mass at. I put this on God, bad black is so hard. Bitch, I'm going back to Harlem in my West African garb. What the fuck, I gotta toughen up so I can find a punk for me to bludgeon up. If you study, know it's gonna be bloody. Got a billion ways for them to lock you up. Educate and anticipate, this whole planet they decimate. Young man's better make bands better. Our ancestors like SMH. Back on this king shit, Nessu Biddy, Mogul Naba got a proper title kingship. I conquer many, mama give me cups of Henny. I'm a shot the Henny rings lit. And I don't fuck with Molly or that lean. I just lay up with my young black queens.
Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck you mean, shawty, fuck you mean. You looking at a young black king.
Yeah, I be listening to Big Crit, Usher my Ras Neferu. I'm from Mississippi. He's about an hour and 30 minutes away from me where he used to stay at, man, out there in the Delta, man. But first I want to say dua Neche Fatmo Lafayette Fatmo Riwi. Majuba Ibi Gungun, Majuba Ibi Gungun, Majuba Ibi Alakba, Majuba Ibi Alakba, Igungun Kiki Igungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to the true and elders, according from an African worldview and from an African perspective. Welcome back for the second time to the Warrior Scholar Show. And again, welcome our guest, Chefreen. Chefreen L. I hope I said that right. Chefreen L. Back, we had some technical difficulties. It was actually on my end. I'm still learning a lot of this stuff, a lot of this software, and fooling with these machines. So I apologize. It wasn't on Chefreen end. It was on my end. I actually went live from Ecamm, a software that I use for my overlays and for my scenes. So again, I want to say I apologize, apologizing to Chefreen, apologizing for y'all. Was trying to bear with me when y'all was thinking it was Chefreen, but it was on my end. So before we get started, man, let me do this again. Let me go back over here and make sure I'm doing the right thing. All right. Like I said, I gotta redo this, man. Not this, but these are the goals, the mandates, and the standards I know y'all probably heard these a while ago, but we're gonna go back through them again real quick. He shout out to my wife, shout out to everybody else that's uh jumping back in. But again, man, let's go back over these mandates again, and I'm gonna try to stay away from my eCam go live button. But again, welcome back to the New Independent African Academy. This is a community that's separate from the other community. This community over here has structure, it has standards, it has guidelines, it has codes of conduct, they have mandates, and there are goals that we as a community or as a collective is trying to achieve. And again, number one is never talk down on another NII member in public. Number two, no pseudo. Number three, research methodology must be followed. Number four is teach those that are ready and willing to learn. Number five, support the members. Number six, disagreements handled in private. Number seven, no one is above correction. Number eight, we must stand for Black Africa. Its descendants in diaspora, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance of dishonesty. Number 10, Iwariri. Again, Iwariri is two words. It is a durable word that means good character. So that is the standard over here. No selfless acts. Number 12 is no scamming. Number 13 is no pedophilia. Number 14 is no disrespecting Black women. Number 15 is race first. Number 16 is supporting Black businesses. Number 17 is integrity. Number 18, must process the will to learn. Number 19, each one teach one, or my phrase, I coin, as I learn, we all learn. These are the goals that we are trying to achieve over here. New Independent African Academy, or the community, is producing more authors. Number two, producing exceptional men and women. Number three, institutions for learning. Number four, entrepreneurs. Number five, scientific literacy. Number six, scholarships for the youth. Number seven, long-lasting marriages. Number eight, cheating, Lord. Creating rites of passages. Number nine, unification. Number 10 is multiple support groups. So those are all of the I'm moving this stuff around. Is the goals, the mandates, and codes of conducts. Also, again, I have to throw this back up here, continue to promote. Go get my book, Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. If you don't have that book, please go to our publishing company, Sanctuary Different Branch Publishing, where you can get you a copy of the Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo, so you can understand the different elements that makes up what y'all are calling African tradition or African spirituality. These are terms that I no longer lose, but I know that a lot of people don't know what Kimoyo means. So if you get the book, you understand why Sars came out with it due to Dr. Fukuyao, and we're trying to push the traditions as Kimoyo and not African traditional religion or African spirituality, which I talk about in my chapter where I have. I don't like those terms, but also go get our new copies, Spearmaster, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 4. This is our Volume 4, our fourth installment. It came out 2 weeks ago. Please go and support it. We put a lot of work, a lot of time in this publication. So go get that book. And it is Dinka approved, because we do talk about the Dinka from the South Sudan in there, as well as other things, but also make sure that you read the subtitle. It says survey. So we have the Dinka masters inside for those that may not understand what the survey is. So those Spearmasters would definitely break it down for you. All right, go and support and get the pre-order copy of Shawn, What SARS-CoV Taught Me, which is also available on our Sanctuary Different Branch Publishing, as the Spearmaster is also available on our Sanctuary Different Branch Publishing company. So you can get all those, as well as the other volumes of the book, as well as my Shawn's children book. His, you could say, somewhat of an autobiography, as well as my somewhat of an autobiography book. As I learn, we all learn, sharing information with others, deepen your own knowledge. They are all available on that same tree different branch same different branch publishing company. Also, if you do not have the new Independent African Academy t-shirts, go to our apparel company and get your new Independent African Academy t-shirts. Again, this is a community separate from that other community over here. Again, if you want structure, you want goals that we're trying to achieve as a collective, you want codes of conducts, you want mandates of higher learning, higher standing, role models, then this is definitely the place for you. So again, welcome back. Appreciate those that jump right back in, man. So we're gonna get straight into it, man. Again, I apologize. That was on my end. I hit the go live button on my in Ecamm. So Ecamm and Zoom was live. So what now we got that straightened out. I figured out what that was. So again, for those that may not know who Chefreen L is, Chefreen, could you brief, because they didn't hear you. They kept saying they didn't hear you. Speak up, you low. So now could you briefly introduce yourself for those that may not know who you are?
Testing. You good, Kofi? You good?
All right.
I had my. Can everybody hear me before I get started?
Yeah, can y'all hear him before we get started? I'm quite sure y'all can hear him now.
Are we good?
They say it's called a zoo. Are we good? Y'all let us know, is his volume good? Is Chefreen L is good?
You can call me Chefreen.
All right, man. I just don't.
You know what I mean? Whatever you've been saying is cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, he say good. You good now. You
okay,
good.
Okay. Now, as soon as y'all say loud and clear, okay.
Yes. All right. Now let's get started. Now it was on my end. It was on my end. I did some craziness a while ago. Again, I apologize for that. But let's get it in. Let me go back over here to my monitor over here and get these questions back up on here. Again, y'all please like and share the show. To those that do, that may appreciate this interview. We started it over. We deleted the other one. So let's get back to it. I appreciate y'all for bearing with me, but it's gonna get better as time as I learn all these different things, man, with this new stuff that we just trying to get better with the production. But brother Chefreen, man, name some of your warrior scholars, and you can name J.A. Rogers again. I know a while ago your team member Corey Concrete was like, really, but go ahead.
All right. Yeah, my name is Chefreen, however y'all want to pronounce it is cool. I understand, right? My favorite warrior scholar, and I know a lot of his work can be updated now. That's not even the issue. Is J. Rogers. So I know a lot of my Pseudo Killas members, like to tear me up about J. Rogers, saying a lot of his information is outdated. I still think he was a great writer and was on the right path, with the information that was available to him. He was a great researcher, and he chronicled the life of Black people in ancient times, and he actually brought it up to the modern times also. But I think volume 2 of World's Great Men of Color. So yeah, J. Rogers is my favorite writer. Favorite book by J. Rogers is Evil Between Superman and Man. That's a story form of a poorman porter. He wrote a story of a fictional story of a poorman porter on a train. That's basically a waiter on a train back in the early 1900s, who had a Black poorman porter on the train that ran into a racist white senator. And it was, it chronicled the 3-day trip and the conversations that he had with the racist white senator. and he went through racial stereotypes, and so that was always a great book for me to read. I still read it every time I pick it up, and I give that book out on a regular basis. I probably gave out at least 20 copies of that book personally. So yeah, J.A. Rogers is my favorite warrior scholar.
Okay. Roger, what is that? I can't never say his name right. That's Red said Rogers is a more Chef Rocks the face. I got some of his works, man. I never read J.A. Rogers, man. I think I got like 3 or 4, but I got a lot of books though I hadn't read, man. But let's go to and because they didn't hear you the first time, man. And I don't think Shawn was in Shawn in here now, so I know he definitely be appreciative of one of the books that you definitely. Well, he'd be appreciative of both books, but name the last books you read or the books you are currently reading.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get to it. The book that I'm currently reading is Jonathan Owen's book, The Magi, Vanguards of Kemet. I've been going through it. I got some stuff that I chopped up in here. So I definitely want to interview him next week. Probably by the time I get to the middle of the book, I didn't chopped it up, and there's some issues that I want him to go over with me. That and Shawn made me read this last week, right? I had to run through it because he came in on the live and went crazy on everybody, talking about our research methodology. We call Shawn the method man, right? So, he always talking about research methodology. And I've been had this book, I just didn't read it, So I said, man, what is Shawn talking about? I know I'm right, but Shawn thing is he wants you to show how you right. Like, he ain't saying you wrong, but he always say demonstrate it, right?
All right.
So this book will definitely help you demonstrate how you reached your conclusions. So through a research methodology. So they're the 2 books that I'm reading now. And I have y'all first book coming tomorrow. And hopefully I finish it by this week. You said the first chapter is the longest chapter.
Yeah, that's
so after I get finished the first chapter, I definitely gonna put together an interview where y'all can come on and I can, see how sharp y'all spears really are. You know what I mean? See, if I can break the spear, then, but if I can't break y'all spear, then, I know y'all really about it, but that's definitely what I want to do. They're the current books that I'm reading right now, but so you can go into the next question.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I like both books that you put out. And the Saber, I read it. I need to go back and read Saber again. I read it a couple of years ago, but in Universal Kemet Press, I like all their books, man. I got a book here. Let me see in this camera here. It's dealing with same thing. It's dealing with research, how to plan, organize, and carry research. Maybe when we get to we sell 100 books for the new publication that we put out, Spearmasters. I know I've been talking about doing a giveaway, and I just talked about doing too many books, and that was gonna cost me money. Me giving books away, those amount of books I was talking about giving away, not just from the team, from a lot of the people that that has good works out there. I name a list of people, not just Kofi Piesie research team or Mossi Warrior Clan, but I have to figure that out, man. But that'll be one of the books, man. Research, because we definitely got to get our people up to speed with research and research methodology. But yeah, man, let's go into what does Chefreen L mean? All they heard a while ago was Greek. That was the only thing they heard.
Okay. All right. Well, let me see. Let me switch this over to this game. All right. Chefreen. When my father changed his name before I was born in the 70s, my father changed his name. My uncle actually named my father when he decided, when he wanted a more African name. My father's original name was Anthony. He wanted to change his name, so my uncle helped him come up with a name. And my uncle he had a Greek rendition of the African name Khafre or Khafra, or however you want to say it. And the Greek rendition was spelled Chephren, Chefreen. I think he was a first, let me see, he was a Old Kingdom pharaoh. Yeah, that's what I want to say. He was an Old Kingdom pharaoh. I think of the 4th dynasty. He was the son of Khufu.
That's him.
Yeah. So my father had the Greek translation of the name. So it's actually Chefreen, and the real name or the indigenous African name was Khafre. So that's where the name. And my uncle was in the Moore Science Temple. By the time I was born, my parents were Sunni. They had moved past that. So, but they kept their names because they had changed them legally. So that's where my name come from.
You kind of answered, but I'm gonna reiterate that though in a minute. Well, we can, because you are kind of like started to go into the next question, because I seen the Chefreen and then the L, and I know the L. You see that a lot with. I see that a lot with a lot of the Muslims, especially the Moors. I see the L. That's where I mostly see it at, the L or Bay. So, and I know L is a Canaanite god, and El Shaddai means God Almighty, or Eon means God Most High, or the Most High. And I know even after, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know after let's see, after L, I mean the L after the name, it means might or power, right?
You just taught me something.
Yeah, I know most.
You just taught me something. I always was that might have been an ancient way that they did it or something. But I know L is a Moorish way of saying Ali also. So, it's a Moorish form of Ali, Ali. So
Okay.
you just taught me something on that.
Yeah. And my next question, which you kind of already went into, because I know when we spoke, when I interviewed the entire Wu-Tang clan, that's who the Pseudo Killas is to me. They the Wu-Tang clan. It's a bunch of y'all, man. And I remember, you was telling me that, you was a harder believer, you was a Muslim, and I never did ask when you was on the show, what set of Muslims you are, because you got Sunni, you got Shiite, you got the Nation of Islam, which was created here, you got the gods of Earth, but you said that your family was Sunni, right? Okay. Yep. So I just wanted to break that down. Well, in fact, soon I'll read that for people that may not know, the difference between those. I even talking about them in my Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo book, because I deal with religion before I get into the 3 Western religions and how people compare these 3 Western religions to African traditions. So I was trying to actually show that the functions, especially when you're dealing with the God type, is different. You know what I'm saying? God character or the function of God is different in African traditions than they are in these 3 Western religions. But I deal with a lot of stuff, but I break down not only these, but I break down the different sects of Christianity. But I'll just read it for people that may not know. Sunni Islam is Shahad has two parts, and I'm not going to, it says La, Ilah, Ilah, I might be saying it wrong. There is no good but God, Allah. And I know I said that wrong. And I'm not going to, Allah Muhammad is a messenger of God, which are sometimes referred to as the first shahad and the second shahada. The first statement that the shahad is also known as the talid.
Tawheed.
Who?
Tawheed.
Okay, I know I pronounced it wrong. And did you learn any Arabic, man, while you was
Yeah.
while,
I mean, prayer and, you know, the everyday sayings. Yeah, I could, you know, any Muslim child would, you know what I mean, you know, learn. But it would be all basically Quranic, and don't nobody speak like that nowadays. Even Arabic speakers, Quranic Arabic is completely there. It's like classical Arabic. It probably would be like somebody trying to speak ancient Greek or something to a modern Greek speaker. So I think most of it is ceremonial and just learning, you know, the Quran through that original form. But I don't think nobody actually speak like that nowadays. Like somebody trying to speak King James English nowadays, it would be, you know what I mean? Right, it would be hard to understand. You know what I mean? You would have to take, even if you are a native English speaker, you have to take classes to actually learn how to understand, you know, 16th century English that, you know, Shakespeare and them wrote in. So it would be similar to that.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I liked how you broke that down. Yeah, right here, but yeah. What clicked, man? What clicked, man? Where you said, well, this, you know, you said you grew up as a Muslim. So what clicked when you said, man, this ain't right, man. This ain't right for me, man. What clicked for you?
Well, that was a process, right? That, you know, coming from a religious family, that's a process, because not only was, you know, my parents and my mother's side Muslim, like even, you know, my grandmother and them, all them, you know, Muslim, but on my father's side, his side of the family, they Christian, right? So you get a heavy dosage of religion. Like, so just because you don't believe one don't mean that you just gonna automatically stop believe in religion altogether, right? When you see inconsistencies in one, for the most part, you start leaning to the one that's answering more questions at the time, right? But as your knowledge grow, your questions, you know, become deeper. And I think religion got drowned out over the years because of my questions, right? And I kept reading, and then I think the main thing that that got me away from Islam, even before I turned atheist, right? Even before I turned atheist, I think me studying more Afrocentric, when I became more acquainted with Afrocentric literature, that like made me have pride in being Black. So me seeing that Islam or Christianity came from people outside of Africa, I chose for me, it was just like, yo, we had to come up with something on our own. Like, you know what I mean? So that was one way that I really started to shy away from it. So it was just, you know, my Black pride that made me shy away from Orthodox Christianity or Islam more so. That made me start to push away from it. But I still grappled with different ways that I could still believe in God without believing in God through the understanding of a herb mind frame. Because, you know, I fought against it. I'm like, well, just because I don't believe the herb don't mean that God ain't real, right? So it was stages, you know what I mean? So I think probably like 5 years ago was when I fully, was able to throw off, and religion and religious thought all the way together. But it was a process.
So how was how did your family receive that? And I'm asking that because when I was a hard up Christian, and my father is actually my father is a minister, man. He has his own church, and it's kind of my dad's church. He has white and black members at his church, so it ain't just black people to go to his church; it's white people to go to his church as well. And on the side of my father's, I done shared this before, but on the side of my father's side, majority of my father's family or our family is, I say, and no disrespect to them, I just say they are insane Christians, and they will disown you quick, man, if you not believing and thinking the same way that they think, and if you don't believe that Jesus died for your sins, or you don't believe in the Bible in general, man. So for a while I was kind of ostracized, and it hurt my feelings. And it was kind of but over time, me and my father, we kind of build our relationship back before I actually moved back to Brookhaven a few years ago. That's my hometown. And before I moved, we had I came home, and my dad took me out and we had a conversation, man. And after we had that conversation, man, I think that's when my dad received me. But it took time for some of my other family members to actually receive me, because I threw all of it away. How I go from, they was trying to figure out how I went so fast. It wasn't fast, just like you said, it was a process for me as well. But after they actually found out and people started finding out more about it, man, my family didn't receive it. On my side of my father's side, man, they didn't receive it well, man. So how was it for you, man? Did they receive it well after that, or you just hadn't shared that information with them?
Well, my family really, I have a very argumentative family. So, it was never a point where I could get disowned for my beliefs, but everything in my family is challenged, right? So my family took it they took it more as a challenge for them, right? So like when I would come around, every conversation would be geared around that, right? So I was the conversational piece. But I could defend my point. So when I was a Muslim, I could defend that. So, but I never was nasty about my belief system, and I never looked down on, the religious people in my family. So I still do everything normal, right? If my family, is about to break fast and they having a Eid feast or whatever, I don't mind going to the masjid, you know what I mean? Eating with my family the same way as my grandmother. I show up at her house on Christmas and Thanksgiving, and you know what I mean? When they say bow yard, if my grandmother have a family and friends day at church and she say family and friends gotta come to church, then I go, right? When they stand up and say bow your head to pray, I know how to do all of that. If my uncle and them ask me to come, Friday, to the masjid, and he's speaking, or they want to hear, somebody special come, a special speaker, I go, right? I make prayer with them, you know what I mean? I can follow I can do it for communal reasons, right? I can participate, but I just don't believe it is true anymore. But I don't separate myself from my family, right? Because I just don't believe their religion no more, because religion is ingrained in my family and how we commune with each other. So I would have to separate myself a lot from family functions if I took a hard stance, on my atheism. So I don't do that. So my family, like after the first year or something, we don't even really discuss it no more. So,
Man, you just got me feeling bad, Chef. Man, I don't like. At first I separated myself for some years, but now, like, if my family has something, let me change this camera because I'm tired of looking over there. Hold on. All right, change the camera. But my family, man, I separated myself in the beginning, man. But I don't, with Thanksgiving, I wouldn't go around like everybody does stuff at my grandmother's house. So we would go to my grandmother's house. Right now, in the last 2 years, my grandmother ain't been able to walk, and she hadn't even got out of the bed. So it's hard for me. I'm close with my grandmother because my grandmother raised most of her grandkids. She raised me. So I'm close with my grandmother. So it's hard, but I had kind of stopped going to the Thanksgiving things, or going to the Christmas thing, or any of that, man. But and I'm trying to do better with that. Like, my dad's a church, and they had to trick me. They had something for my dad and his wife, Francis. They've been married, man, for maybe I'm gonna say they may married for maybe about, I think they've been married 20 years or 30 years. I can't remember. I think it was their 20-year anniversary the other year. And my stepmother had to trick me into coming to church. I'm thinking I was gonna be in the building. And then they said it was gonna be, because my dad and them got an outside building where I actually got married at. Last year I got married, and I didn't get married in the church. They got a big building where they have functions at. So I got that building, and I didn't want nobody else to marry me but my father, even though he's a Christian minister. I had him to marry me and my wife. And but anyway, they tricked me, man, to come, and I hadn't even been back to my dad's church, man. And I commend you, man, for that, man, because I know when he seen me in the church the other year when they was having, because I thought it was just gonna be a function. They said it wasn't gonna be no church, it was just gonna be inside the church, and it was gonna be a function, a celebration. It was gonna, just something, you normally rent a building and go to. So, but I got in there, man, they had church up in there, man. And I got to looking crazy. My stepmother was looking at me, and my dad, man, he just broke down and started crying because I was in the church, man. And I actually, be honest with you, I actually enjoyed myself while I was there, while they was having church. And then after church, middle of the church, they started doing certain things, recognizing my dad and his wife Frances, and some other things like that, man. But I actually enjoyed myself, man. But I admire you for that, man. I'm definitely gonna have to work on that myself, man. Where, if my dad invites me to something, whether I believe in it or not, man, it's about going and support my dad, because that's my dad, man, and going to support my family, man. So I commend you on that, man. You just actually humbled me some more, man, and you actually put something on my mind where I have to do better. I have to correct what I'm doing, my conduct, man. I have to do better by support my dad. If my dad asks me to come, you know what I'm saying? Every now and then just go and support if he has, because he have functions. So just go support some functions. He have these men functions, and youth program functions at the church, but it be merged in with the church stuff. But I'm definitely gonna have to do better on that, man. I sure appreciate you sharing that. And I got some out of from what you just shared, man.
Yeah, I look up to the men in my family, right? So I never could look down on them because I have a difference of opinion about something than them. Because whether if my father's way to convey certain information to me is through his understanding of Islam, I still gotta listen to that. You know what I mean? That's still my fault. I don't confine his mentorship to his religion, right? My uncles and them, I don't confine their mentorship to me to their religion, right? It's so many things that they have to offer me, right, as being my elders, right? My real elders, like we talked about that, but my real elders that I can sit down and listen to. My uncle and them, they have a research group, right? And they sit and they like every other Wednesday or something. They getting older now, but they used to do it every other Wednesday, right? And I still would go, even though I had a difference of opinion, because I learned so much from them, right? They still my uncles, right? My grandmother, that's my grandmother. How can I not listen to my grandmother? Just because her medium for conveying her message is through a Christian vernacular, don't mean that she ain't telling me the real spill, right? I gotta listen to her. You know what I mean? That's crazy. How could I throw all that wisdom and information away just because I don't believe Jesus died and rose from the dead? That would be crazy for me to throw out my grandmother wisdom because I disagree with her about religious philosophy, right? She might tell me something that I need to hear, right? But the way that she expresses it is through, her Christian vernacular. I gotta listen to that. You know what I mean? I ain't never been that big, right? And my father not with me no more. So the fact that you still have a father, right, that's with you, and he's a celebrated elder because he is a pastor, you got something serious on your hands. Like, it lends more credit to your father when his children supports him. Like, if nobody else listen to your father, you supposed to. You feel me? Like, all those people in that church can get up, but that's the one that raised you, fed you. So if they can listen to him, then you definitely can listen to him. Like, that's my frame of, you know what I mean? My family took care of me and they still take care of me. When I need a business loan or anything, I go to the Christians in my family, right? They the most well off, right? So I go to them, right? And they look, if they got some extra money around and, somebody just took out another mortgage on their home or something, so I never look down on them. We just have a difference of opinion on religious matters. So I definitely rock with my family. I don't care what the hell they believe.
Right. That's peace, man. I said I definitely learned something. I just gotta definitely do better with that because, and I'm saying that is, I'm always talking about good character, good character, EYRE. So I'm always talking about that, and and for the most part, I do that. I demonstrate that. I maybe the entire 4 or 5 years of me being on YouTube, you might have seen me twice to get out of character. So most time I just try to treat people, with respect and treat people right. So by me promoting that, I have to do better with that as well because that's good character. If I can't even go and support my own dad, you know what I'm saying, just because we have differences or we look at our worldview is different, man. So I'm just saying I appreciate that, man, because like I said, you really put something on my mind, man, and I'm really gonna do better really do better with that, man. This man here, he didn't raise me, but he was in my life the whole time, and My dad was, you know, was my favorite, was my favorite person in the world. Growing up, man, you couldn't say nothing wrong about my dad. I would hear my grandmother say stuff about my dad. I would hear my mom say stuff about my dad. And man, I'd be ready to fight but even though I'm gonna get knocked down, but I'd be ready to fight over my dad, man.
Yeah.
And you know, if I call him right now, man, you know, he gonna pick up, he gonna chop it up with me, he gonna talk to me, you know what I'm saying? If I need something, you know, he gonna give it to me if he can give it to me, even though, you know, I'm my own man. I don't ask him for nothing. But I know if I did need something or fell on hard times, I know my dad got me, man. So I have to, you know, I had to reciprocate that back. I know if I need something, he got me. And it should be reciprocated back if he needs something from me, whether it's just support. I need to be there for support for him sometime if he want me to come, man, to his church or come to some type of function that's surrounding around his church, man. So again, man, I appreciate you for putting that on my mind, man. Let's move on, man, to man, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's kind of reiterate it, man, because that was a question that I didn't know neither because um how you met Unc and because you just popped up out of nowhere to me. I said, I've been, you know, I've been in this so-called conscious community. We done packed our bags, but you know, being a part of that so-called conscious community since 2012, you know, as I gradually, you know, researched and studied and been a part of these certain groups and met people in these circles that I seen on YouTube. And like I said, I've been doing it for a minute and been my presence been known for almost 5 years. And you just popped out of nowhere. I'm like, who is this guy? And I'm like, he talked just like Unc. I mean, he talked just like Unc. So, you know, so I said, well, you know, he got to be from Baltimore. So maybe he met him in Baltimore. I don't know, man. But, you know, just, and you touched about it a little bit, but how, you know, just reiterate again, man, for the people. How did you meet Unc West, man?
Well, I actually met him on here. Unc lives in Atlanta, Georgia now, and
Right.
we have an age gap, right? So, but him doing the what's that? The Almond Raw Squad and the Real Black Atheist. And I think I caught him a couple times on Sinetta. But anyway, he had opened the panel up on one of his channels one day, and they was having a conversation. So I came in on the panel, and like you said, people can recognize we have the same accent, right? So he automatically knew I was from Baltimore by my accent. So and we actually grew up in the same neighborhood and knew a lot of the same people. Like he know guys my age, right? So once we had talked on the back end, you know, we had just hit it off about that. But the conversation that we had online, he was saying like, damn, y'all younger guys, I like what y'all bringing to the table, right? We should do a YouTube channel. We should do, you know what I mean? Where we talk about, you know, science and, you know what I mean? The different things that y'all study, and all of us are atheists also. That's where we really hit it off at on the atheism thing. We wasn't afraid to share our views on being atheists in the community, right? Because most people don't really broadcast whether they atheists or not, because you know our community is still spooky on that. Like you got to believe in God in some way, fashion, or form, right? You got to believe in the supernatural some way, fashion, or form. So we really hit it off on that, and he the one who put the Pseudo Killas together. So
yeah, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but y'all kind of re-energized Unc. You know, I talk to Unc on the I talk to Unc almost every week. You know, almost every week, man. But I know if I don't talk to him that week, I know I'll probably talk to him the week after that. We may talk maybe 2 or 3 times or whatever. And I remember him talking kind of about that. Unc was on the verge of doing what I was gonna do a few years ago, and I don't even lie, I actually was entertaining it uh about 9 months ago, but just leaving. You know what I'm saying? Unc was like, man, I'm finna let them have it. I'm finna let them have it. They got frustrated, saying, man, I'm finna just get off. I'm finna let y'all have it. I'm finna just ride in the sunset and be with my family, man. I'm not gonna be on air anymore. This was what he was telling me a while back. He was frustrated. I get frustrated. I was getting frustrated a lot of things. So I was trying to do the same thing, man, just leave because I was feeling like people wasn't appreciating what we was bringing to the table, especially with the Mossi Warrior clan, just the information. I'm still saying that with what we bringing forth, ain't nobody have been bringing forth for as West African tradition, culture, and customs. I mean, you can go on there, man. We speak of every ethnic group, damn near every ethnic group in Africa. But then we switched it up and went to East Africa because that's where I'm at right now. I'm in East Africa because um, my father's my father's people comes from out of Kenya and they migrated into Nigeria. And my mother side of the people comes from Uganda, which also was in East Africa, and they migrated into Ghana. So I've been on my East African stuff, man, for a minute, and studying some more with the ethnic groups in East Africa. But y'all revitalized them, man, and I don't think if y'all wouldn't have did the show, I think we wouldn't have seen Unc West anymore because he was like, man, the hell with it. And then when he started this, he started the Pseudo Killas, man. I kind of see him, he started promoting y'all, more and more and more, with his channel, and then created the Pseudo Killas channel, you know what I'm saying, and put y'all out in the forefront so people can get to know who the Pseudo Killas are. Now it was I rock with the Pseudo Killas. I ain't too many people on YouTube I watch, but I watch y'all show for the most part. Only time I'm honestly able to catch it is on Saturdays and Sundays, and maybe on Mondays if y'all go live, because I'm a part-time entrepreneur, and I got a full-time job, which I'm trying to transition to making myself a full-time entrepreneur instead of part-time. So I work 4 days a week, but when I'm not working, I catch y'all. Sometimes I may say something in the chat. Sometimes I just sit back and I vibe out and I listen to y'all, and I appreciate a lot of the information that y'all print. Sometimes I get frustrated with y'all. I get frustrated because y'all can be talking about one subject and then y'all switch and never come back. Somebody will say something and then somebody's making a point and y'all on some topic, and then instead of finishing the topic because I'm learning, it goes to another subject. I'm like, God damn, bro, I'm learning, and now somebody said something and now they going off on another thing, man. But I rock with the Pseudo Killas, man. So
we learning.
Yeah. So
we learning.
Yeah, but I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you putting the content out there, man. Like you really putting hey, if ain't nobody else gonna do it, I'm gonna jump on here and I'm gonna put the content out there. In order for you to have that exposure, you got to put content out there for people to see you, and support the things that you got going on, man. You know what I'm saying? And listen to the things that you trying to share or convey with the people. And I got to get better with that. That's why I'm up and getting all this stuff. And so I can start putting out more content, and it can start looking more professional, and
Quality.
audio be more quality. So, quality, you know what I'm saying? So, and I appreciate you for sharing information with the stuff that I have, man. I done spun a little penny, but it's all for the better, man. But again, man, I appreciate y'all for putting that, energy back into Unc West, man, where he didn't ride out in the sunset, man. Y'all gave him the purpose to stay and you know what I'm saying, and continue to share information, man. But let's talk about, man, real quick, man. And like I said, I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. And I appreciate you again for jumping right back on after I made a mistake with the first live stream. But again, I'm learning. But let's talk about vaccines for a minute, man. How important is vaccines to you, brother Chef? And when you and also before you touch on that, I had a conversation yesterday with Shawn and and we was talking yesterday, and and I was telling them about a show. I'm doing a show tomorrow. You might want to check it out. I'm gonna do it early. It's gonna be about 5 o'clock. It's called the Hesitancy of Getting Vaccinated. I think that's the name of the show, and it's with my wife. My wife is not into this YouTube stuff, so I had to talk her into actually getting on camera tomorrow. So she actually gonna get on camera. So that's why I ended up buying another mic and another set of headphones and stuff, and got another camera also. But my wife is not vaccinated, and well, I'm not gonna share what Unc told me unless you want to share that. But we are similar. So I think this conversation is needed because you're gonna show a person who is vaccinated and then a person who is not vaccinated who is married and into the same house.
Right.
And so, and I know other people have this same
issue,
dealing with the same thing. They trying to, explain and educate their significant other or even their children on how important it is to get this vaccine. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm having a difficulty of time with it. So I have so this conversation is going to be out in real time between me and my wife, her concerns. You know what I'm saying? I'm also going to be trying to educate people, and then I'm actually going to be bringing out some things that's dealing with a lot of the pseudoisms or the myths or the misinformation that my wife has learned. Where is this information is actually coming from, and talk about what's in the vaccines. So I think it'll be a nice conversation, and I'm gonna open up the lines. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take calls online, and they can talk to me. They can talk to my wife, but there will be no disrespect in my wife when we go live. You will be kicked out of the chat immediately. Be respectful. You don't have to agree, which she don't have a whole lot to say anyway because she hadn't read on those things. But anyway, man, it's I'm so excited about it, man. She might not come back on it no more with me, but this is a conversation, man, that I think that need to be needed and other people in the same situation that I am. But man, explain to me, man, or talk to us about how important it is to get vaccinated, man.
Well, all right, I'll start from the end, then I get to, All right, well, yeah, my significant other, my woman, she definitely is not an anti-vaxxer, but she's anti this vaccine. It's crazy, right? You know what I mean? So, it's definitely, no matter what I say, she ain't convinced, right?
Me too.
She has a primary care physician. She's still not convinced. I can let her listen to every show Shawn do. Still not convinced, right? And there's a level of stubbornness, right, that she's participating in, right? I think a lot of people don't like to be forced to do anything, right? I think once she planted her feet, she decided to be unmovable at that point, right? So it don't matter, what I say at this point, don't matter what information come out right now. This is the dynamic. She's unvaccinated, right? And our families came together. She had a daughter before me, and I had a daughter before her, right? So me and my biological daughter is vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Her and her biological daughter is not. Craziest thing. Like, she listened to me on everything else, right? But this one thing is mind-boggling to me, because you listen to me about everything. If I tell her ass to go jump down the steps, right, she'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have faith in what, in business-wise, if I say I'm gonna do something, She have full faith that I can do it and still take care of everybody, right? If I say, yo, I want to get us new cars in 3 months, she don't question me. She'll be like, well, I know you'll figure it out. Boom, boom, boom. You'll work it out. Boom. If that's what you want to do, then. So but when it came to this vaccine, I don't know what her. So I understand when, we have the pseudo killers or we be on Science with Shawn and we be going in about, the vaccines. At a certain point, there's a certain people out here who's just being obstinate for no good reason, right? They'll listen to their doctor about any other thing, right? But when it comes to this, is a trend, is a fad to be against this vaccine right now. And I think that's the only thing that's going on now, where I stand on vaccines. Now that's where I don't know if your situation is like my situation, but that's my analysis of what my significant other is doing at this point.
Yeah. That's about right. You done about summed it up. That's about the same thing for me. She's on the fence. She's just on the fence right now, and like no matter what I say or no matter what I show her, she's
hesitant.
She's just hesitant. So I think when she hear it, and I asked Shawn, and she really didn't want to hear it, but I think if Shawn would have talked, she would have listened to Shawn, because I met Shawn last week in Texas, and I wanted Shawn to talk to my wife, and I think if he would have kept talking, she would have listened. You know what I'm saying? She would have listened, and Shawn can articulate it better than the way I can articulate certain things. So I think she would have been able to listen. I think she would have been, she would have listened. I think she would have been able to learn, and she wouldn't have been so hesitant about that, because I'm scared. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, because she don't know how scared I am of her not having this vaccine, because as a child, she was sickly. And man, she's still sickly. I get tired of her going to the doctor and saying she feel like this and she feel like that. And she scared me the other week, and I was sharing it with Shawn. And I'm gonna talk about it again tomorrow on the show while she's there, because I want her to see real time how scared I am, because she don't have it, and she's already have some preconditioned diseases. But yeah, it's in the same thing, man. But so how important you think, being vaccinated is, man?
Well, vaccines is like the first things that you get when you're born. So it has to be, very important. Our life expectancy then went up because of vaccines, right? The population of human beings on this earth then grew because of vaccines. So you got to be out of your mind if you think vaccines, right? You have to be completely under a rock and don't even look around or read anything in the last 70 years to not think that the vaccines is important. Now, I say this. My family is older, all right? I have people in my family that's in their 80s, right? Now, I have an uncle whose brother had polio because he was born in the 30s. So I still have people in my family that remember certain diseases that's been wiped out by vaccines. Like, so when my uncle talked about how his brother couldn't walk for like the first 5 years of his life, right? His brother passed on, he's still alive. And when he told me this, he had told me this at my uncle's repast, right? He said, your Uncle Harold, he couldn't walk when he was younger. I used to have to carry him on my back. Like, around, they from South Carolina. He said, I used to have to carry him on my back before they moved to Baltimore in 1950. right? But my uncle, he like back in South Carolina, they lived by Myrtle Beach. Like I used to have to carry your Uncle Harold around on my back because he had polio, right? And I was like, what? Like I never knew this, right? So this was something that they was dealing with back in those times that we don't even, I never met anybody in my generation that had polio. Most people my age don't even know what polio is. Right. If you know what I mean? Right. But this was a serious situation back in the 40s and in the 30s, right? This was a real, you know what I mean? Even President Roosevelt suffered from polio. That's why he was in the wheelchair for most of his presidency because of polio that he contracted when he was a kid, right? It messed with his spine and his ability to walk. So he barely could walk, but for the most part during his presidency, he was in a wheelchair. And that's the president that was president during World War II. He actually suffered from polio as a child. That's why he was in a wheelchair. So vaccines is definitely a key. Now, another thing, my child and my children that's in my house never had chicken pox, right? They don't even know what chicken pox is.
I do.
I do, right? If you was born in the early 80s, right? You know what chicken pox is. You'll see somebody who was born in the 80s, right? In the early 80s or the late 70s, right? And you'll say, yo, what's that on your face? Now I'm a barber, right? Couple of guys about 48, 47. Like, yo, what's that on your face? What's this? Did you cut yourself doing, shaving or something? Like, how did you get that? Oh, and I had chicken pox when I was little. And that scar never went away, right? My daughter never heard of chicken pox, right? Everybody in my damn house as a kid, we had chicken pox. You know what I'm saying? My daughter don't even got what? It's been wiped out. Like they don't even have to worry about it no more. They don't even know what it is. So, I mean, vaccines is definitely, is very important, and you got to be living under a rock for the last 70 years to, not understand the significance and the benefits of vaccines. So I just say that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I agree exactly, man. Because those are some of the things I'm going to talk about. The benefits, also of being vaccinated, man. So. And I agree with everything, man, that you said, man. And if you ain't doing nothing, I'm
gonna definitely tune in, and I'm gonna definitely make my girl tune in.
Yeah.
I hopefully you have a breakthrough conversation, and that crazy Negro in the other room, if she can hear me, hopefully she could get, you know what I mean? Because I didn't try, like even when I'm not on the show with Shawn, right? I'll take my iPad in the room when he doing, science with Shawn about the vaccines. Mm-hmm. And I have my iPad and she'll probably, be in the bed with her iPad or something, looking at something, blase. And I have the iPad and I, put the YouTube on. And once she hear people talking about the vaccine and being pro-vaccine, she gets up and walks out the room.
Wow.
She don't even want to hear it. Right? But if I send her something or some crazy person, right, saying something crazy about the vaccine, right? If there's a doctor, a kook doctor that's talking about you shouldn't take the vaccine, she all for that, right? So it's confirmation bias. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's saying something that, goes with her hesitancy, right? Or her skepticism towards it, she all is for that. But if it's somebody's being pro-vaccine, right, then she shuts down. Like that's just what she do now. So I don't even really talk to her about it no more. I feel like I'm doing more damage when I bring it up, right, at this point. Like it's like maybe I'm not conveying it right, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. So that's why I was trying to get Shawn to actually do it. But you know, we gonna sit down tomorrow. She gonna be on camera. Everybody get to see my beautiful wife. Um, Hopefully she'll be able to talk. Hopefully she'll be able to learn. I'm gonna share some things, take some phone calls. You know, y'all can talk to me, talk to my wife, ask her a question, ask me a question. Um, Tomorrow, man, I'm excited about it, man. So hopefully, man, you know, she'll be able to learn something through the show, man. I definitely appreciate it, and I'll be you know, actually, man, this I'll be actually not presenting, but I'll be talking or reading some stuff a little bit from Shawn's book as well. Let me put it up here so people can see what I'm talking about um here. But this here is a book, so I don't read the entire book. What SARS COVID taught me. You know, if you hadn't got pre-ordered the book, please go pre-order the book. But like I said, it's a great informative book. I learned a whole lot. I knew some stuff, but uh, and I couldn't keep up with the articles that Shawn was on. Shawn throw 4 or 5 articles back there
Exactly.
in the
Yeah,
back
I
chat,
know.
man. I can't read that all. I got stuff I got to do, man. I can't read that all day when I got other things I'm trying to do. But um
I
um
appreciate him taking the time to
yeah,
actually, you know, learn and understand the information because it's a
yeah.
big learning gap, right?
Mm,
With the words, you know, the terminology,
yeah,
right? So I appreciate, you know, him, Unc, and all of them who deal with the vaccine and trying to get us up to date with it.
yeah,
Um, with this new technology and actually immunology as a whole and virology. Like those things are not, you know, you just can't pick up and learn that type of, you know, information. Like it's a learning gap, right? That I feel like we're not just gonna make up in 1 year, right? So for the people who put that time in, right, to break that information, that to learn it and then be able to learn it to a level where they could teach it. Like there's a lot of things that you can learn, right? But you know you got something mastered when you could teach it,
mhm,
right? So the fact that Shawn is able to, you know, learn this information and then teach it in an effective way and argue it. You know what I mean? We got to give him and definitely pre-order that book and pick it up. I'm gonna definitely get it for my girl, even if I had to tie her crazy ass down to the
yep,
bed
yep,
and sit and read it to her.
yep, yep. Because
You know what I mean?
yep, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, man. I actually got 5 copies that I'm actually gonna give to some people, and I know uh two two out of the 5 gonna read it, and I know my wife. I'm gonna have to tie her down, and I'm just gonna have to read it.
Yeah.
Probably end up having to read it to her. But I definitely got it for some people, man. Like I said, I done read the entire book. I was uh grateful enough where he trusts me to edit the book. So I edit the book, and that's what we do at Same Tree Different Branch Publishing. So if you need any editing done or you need an entire book published, that's what we do over here. So um as I did one level of editing, the second level of editing that we do, we edit and read the entire books. A lot of people don't do that. So I was able to read each chapter, man, and um, I'm 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 um I'm definitely grateful, man, that I was able to read it, man. And it's a great publication, man. I just want to say it's a great publication. It ain't too far over your head. There's a few things you have to look over. So one of the chapters I had trouble with that I had to reread again, but I'm gonna have to reread it again too because I had to look up a few little things because I was a little not clear on a few little things, but I kind of got it. But it's a read where you know it ain't going over too many people's head and it's explaining a lot of stuff, man. So yeah, go pre-order Shawn's book.
Your wife is in the chat right now. She said you better go get that rope because you
Yeah.
gonna have to tie.
Yeah, I had to go get that rope, man. But you know, I want to say I appreciate you, man. I ain't gonna hold you no more, man. I appreciate you letting me interview you, man. And the show is Warrior Scholars. And like I said on the first show that I did earlier, the show was created after I interviewed Unc and Benjamin Injai at the same time, and I entitled the show Warrior Scholars. And from there, man, that birthed the Warrior Scholars show. So you was the 21st guest. So I done had 21 people I have interviewed on this new show that I created called Warrior Scholars, man. So I appreciate you for allowing me to interview you. I appreciate and be honest with you, Chefreen. Um, it was kind of like with me and Unc. I didn't like Unc in the beginning. Like I didn't like Unc in the beginning, and this was before I joined the Mossi Warrior Clan. And then when I got invited to join the Mossi Warrior Clan back in 2018, I did a show. I took the show down off of my YouTube channel. I didn't put it up on the Mossi, and my intentions was good, and it was to try to bring everybody together. And I said something, and I don't know, we ended up my first time ever talking to Unc, and I had probably may have been a member maybe about 4 or 5 months, and just started putting work in on the Mossi channel. And I let my channel be because I wanted to show and prove that, and prove them that they did pick individual who actually can bring some to the Mossi Warrior Clan channel and not be just a weak link where I'm just claiming to be a part of something and I'm not putting in any work. But after that conversation that we had in 2018, and afterwards, him supporting the Mossi, and then wholeheartedly supporting Kofi Piesie research team, Unc like one of my favorite persons, you know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite persons I talk to, like I say, at least once a week. And but I didn't like him at first. And I'll say the same thing, like, I didn't know how to take you at first. I ain't really like you at first. I'm like,
it's our Baltimore vibe.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be what it was. I didn't like you, so I was kind of unsure, man. So, but as I started to continue to pay attention, even though I don't agree with and I'll be a fool. Anybody will be a fool to say that. And that's just something that with me, I don't believe everybody's going to agree on everything, and I don't get in my feelings about that. You got people that think that you're supposed to agree with them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get in my feelings when you don't agree with certain things, because I understand that everybody's not going to agree over everything. So I'm not going to disrespect you because I may have a difference of opinion, or not even opinion. I just say, hey, you just dead wrong on whatever it is. So so I don't get in my feelings about that, man. But just watching you do what you do, and whether you know it or not, I like the fact that you became a leader, whether they say it or not. You became a leader of the Pseudo Killas. And what I mean by a leader of the Pseudo Killas is, it's like, okay, if nobody else will do it, then I'll do it. I'll step up and I'll do it. So I'll put the content out there. I'll create these conversations so we can have these conversations so people can learn. So, and I admire that thing when somebody take it amongst themselves and they do it, and you possess that leader quality. And even just me building with you off of the line before we got started, what I'm saying? Just the things that you were saying with your businesses and so forth, that's leader qualities, man. So I admire you for having those leaders qualities, man. And again, man, and this interview was for me to get to know you some more, man, because I wanted to know a little bit more about who Chefreen L was. And I appreciate you because, hey, you didn't really know me that well. You just know me a little bit through and I pop up on the channel, every now and then. I get on the panel and I listen. But man, when I hit you up about certain things, man, you respond back, bro. You don't ignore my text. You don't ignore my phone call, man. So I appreciate that. And I got questions, man. You always willing to help me with the questions, especially with this entire setup that I got and this studio setup that I got. now. So man, I appreciate you, man, for that. And I appreciate you, man, for again, for allowing me to interview you actually for the second time, because I messed up the first one. It wasn't on you, it was on me. And I appreciate you. You could have said, nah, we just can do this another time. But you was like, nah, go ahead and set it back up, Kofi. I got you, man. So I appreciate that, brother, man. So you got any last words, man, closing remarks, man, before I end the stream?
Yeah, well, if I can bring anything to the community, you know what I mean, of worth, I do it. I definitely bring my personality with me. So and for the most part, I would say how I communicate is a result of me working in a barbershop for so long. So that's my method of communication. Now it might rub people the wrong way. It might, but that's just my style. Is most effective for me, in that atmosphere, right? There's a lot of pseudoisms go through a barbershop in a day. All right. So to have the correct information on the spot, to be able to challenge information on the spot, that's like my go-to method, right? Not being able to source up. Everybody say, Chef, you don't never show a source. Well, my thing is, look it up, right? My thing is, look it up, because my conversations, a person is only in a barbershop for around 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the service that they're getting. So I have to correct people or challenge them in a very short amount of time. So that's my whole style. So if it rubs people the wrong way, hopefully I get better at it, because I plan on being around. So, my research get more in depth, or me presenting my research. It's basically like a math problem. You know how you had a math teacher, if a child worked out, or a student worked out their problem and ain't show their the way that they worked the problem out, a teacher would dock them, on that math question, like the answer is right, but how did you arrive at that answer? So I definitely will start to show my work a little bit more. But like I said, most of the time, by the time we get online, we done already exhausted the conversation in our back chats, on our FaceTimes. So I don't even give it out, but I appreciate you bringing me on. I appreciate you bringing me on your interview for Warrior Scholars. And I'm definitely going to set up a time to bring y'all on to discuss y'all first work, because I really want to get into that. So that's a new episode that I want to present on the Pseudo Killas channel, right? Interviewing the people that's putting out works in our community now. So y'all have a lot of works I got to get to. So hopefully I have y'all on numerous times, because I appreciate what y'all do. I say that, and I appreciate you having me on.
Man, no doubt, man. Y'all give it up for Chefreen.
Oh, he got the sound effects. I'm gonna send you some sound effects, though. I'm gonna send you some.
Send me some.
Yeah, I got a whole, you know what I mean? I'm gonna send you some.
Yeah, send me one, man. Send me some, man, because I only got a limited few. I downloaded some, and I got like some new music on here, man, and I'm finna get back in my producing bag too, man, so I can start playing my own, at least just an instrumental on the show, man. And if anybody got some music, man, I want to highlight. I've been highlighting my brother, Fortune. So I'll be highlighting him, and I got another guy who actually gave me a track, about 2 years ago, and I really never did nothing with it. But and he actually did the song to my presentations I did on the Mossi, man, dealing with, I don't know what the name of African spirituality, African traditions, the who, what, and why, which actually turned into a chapter for one of the volumes that we put out, and I elaborate a little bit further in my own book, Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo. I'll probably present his music next week, but I'll just keep playing Fortune this week. I'll probably play another one of his songs, different song, tomorrow's show. But yeah, tune in tomorrow, man, at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Me and my beautiful headache. I say my beautiful headache because she's beautiful, but she gives me so many headaches, y'all. So we'll be on tomorrow. This will be our first time on camera. We'll be having a discussion. I'm throw the little flyer / thumbnail up there probably tonight or tomorrow, and hopefully y'all can share it, man. Especially share it with people that may be able to resonate with what me and Chefreen got. Whether you got one person vaccinated, the significant other is not vaccinated, or one person in the house is vaccinated and the children is not vaccinated for whatever reason, man. I think this is a conversation that we need to have, and sometimes they won't listen to us, but they might listen to somebody else, man. So this conversation may help my wife. It may help Chefreen wife. He said he was gonna have her to listen in tomorrow, man, and have your wife to call in, Chefreen. I give the number out, man. Y'all can call in. Everybody else can call in, man. Like I said, I'll be taking calls online as well. So it's gonna be a conversation. And like I said, I'm gonna present some information. I'm probably gonna present some little information from Shawn's book. I'm probably talk a little bit more about vaccines a little bit, and then we'll probably go into the conversation with me and my wife will be able to voice her concerns and why she's hesitant about getting the vaccine. And maybe she can come up with understanding. Y'all maybe can convince her or articulate it better than I can, so she can do what she got to do, because I'm scared for her. But on that note, man, I want to say, well, let me do this. I want to do this real quick, and I'm gonna end the show. Dang, that ain't what I want to do. Let me go back here. Let me go to. I just want to continue. Go get the book. Go get Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo. If you don't have it, please go get the book. Please support this work. It took me about 6. It actually took me more than 6 months. It actually took me several years, but I put the book together in 6 months. Please go support the book. A lot of people been purchasing the book. I appreciate it. I got some feedback so far. A few feedback from the book. All of the feedback been good. And if you got the book and you hadn't read it, please, when you get a chance to read it, feel free to, hit me back up, you know what I'm saying, and let me know how, you enjoyed the book or you didn't enjoy the book, just let me know. But please go and support this work, man. Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo. I think it's a great book. December, I will be putting out the expanded version. This has 10 chapters. I'll be putting out 4 more chapters. And I'll have the 4. I had the 4 by Kung Fu, who's a member of the Mossi, but on this expanded version, the 4 will be by Asar Imhotep, written by Asar Imhotep. The dedicated 4 to be written by Benjamin Njai, aka Blak Panther, and there will be 4 more chapters added, which will have a total of 14 chapters within the book. So be on the lookout December for the Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo, man. I'm just having a rough time trying to finish it because of all of this stuff that we got going on far as with our publishing company. We got outside clients right now, and they kind of keeping me, man, busy, man. Awesome. Also, again, go get Spearmasters, man. Our latest volume 4, Spearmasters, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, volume 4. It is Dinka approved. The name comes from the Dinka people, Spearmasters. They have their elders who are Spearmasters. This comes from their folklore story about the Spearmasters. So the Dinkas are the Spearmasters. They use the spear within everything. So it resonated with us to name the book Spearmaster, because each one of our publication has spear within it, and we know how this technology at one point of time was revolutionary at one point of time, but we have turned our spears into pens. So our spears are now pens. So we are defending our community with pens now by writing these publications and trying to write them, you know what I'm saying, and give y'all some correct and correct and accurate information. And again, if you don't have Shawn's book, please go out and get the book. Those 3 publications are on Same Tree Different Branch Publishing. If you don't have our other works, go get the other volumes. They are still on KofiPiesie.tv.com, but go to Same Tree Different Branch Publishing, and they are also on there as well as my children book, as well as Shawn's children book, as well as his autobiography, as well as my autobiography. As I learn, we all learn. Sharing information with others, deepen your own knowledge, man. So y'all go support. Go. I had shoot, I'm losing train. I had Jonathan Owens on. Go get his various works. I'll put it in the description on the last video I did. I didn't have it in there, but go get his book as well. The Magi Vanguards of Kemet. I can't remember the subtitle, but man, yeah, go support, man. Again, appreciate everybody for jumping back in, man, and listening to what me and Chefreen had to talk about, man. This was a good interview. I enjoyed myself. I don't know if Chefreen enjoyed itself, but I definitely enjoyed myself and enjoyed this interview as well. I want to say peace and Black African power. I said ETM Hotep in the beginning, which means bring forth peace. So now I want to say Shemin Hotep. Shemin Hotep just means to depart in peace. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 5 p.m. for another great show. And I am out of